Bandwidth for today's show is brought to you by SoftLayer.com. We love SoftLayer here at Talkapolis. They are the greatest hosting company ever. They make everything easy. Check out their website at SoftLayer.com. Thanks again for sponsoring the show.
Talkapolis, the social media TV network for your city.
Hi, thanks for joining us again for the Nashville Fitness and Beauty Roundup. Today we have Rebecca Brown, who is an instructor at CrossFit 615 and the director of Steve's Club Nashville.
Correct.
Right? Which is it's a nonprofit organization that helps at-risk kids.
Correct. And
Dennis Cheatham, who is the owner of CrossFit Talon in Cool Springs. So we're going to be talking about, well, this segment, we're going to go into kind of the basis of CrossFit and kind of some of the misconceptions people have about it. I want you guys to kind of just give us a broad overview of you know, what it's about, how it, well, let's just dig in. I think the first thing people have is they're scared of it. They kind of think, oh my gosh, I know somebody who got hurt there, and it kind of gets this bad reputation for being extreme. And bad news always travels faster than good, so that's just kind of what people hear. What would you say to, I mean, people would say it's too extreme, or it's not for everybody, or it's too hard for me, or too hard for the general public. What would you think?
well, I was one of those scared people.
Okay.
It took my husband about 9 months to talk me into trying it.
Oh, wow.
And
brave man.
And so I'm a believer in that the hardest thing about CrossFit is walking in for your first class.
Okay.
Once I did the first class, I was like, I can do this. It's okay.
All right. Well, Dennis, you work with the general public walking in all the time, and you own the place, so you probably have people walking in with questions, maybe a little nervous.
A lot of questions, nervous, yes. As Rebecca said, most of the time the hardest part is just walking in the door, just to start that conversation. CrossFit is hard, but it is, if you have the right coaching in the right box, it's for everybody. It can be scaled down to your grandmother, your grandfather.
Wow.
But it's hard, and I think that's one of the things that scares people away. What you see on YouTube and what you see on the games, that's the top elite level. What happens daily in the box is far from that.
Okay.
We're getting people to move, we're getting people to exercise again, finding the enjoyment of exercising.
Gotcha. So it's fitness driven.
It's, oh yes.
So not everybody's trying to go to the games, obviously.
No.
No.
They may aspire to it, but once they see it, I think we've been to regionals as spectators, and once you see your Rich Fronings and your Dan Baileys, and Rebecca's trained with them, once you see them, you know that that's another level.
Right. Training with the athletes at the games is, well, I joke that I think that Rich Froning is the fifth element.
Okay, gotcha.
He is.
He's just kind of...
Just a genetic gift.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've got to, you can train all you want, but, the games athletes have got genetics, training, everything.
Sure.
The whole
Okay.
package.
So that's not indicative of what happens, what you say, in the box. And obviously, I mean, we're seeing more popularity in this because Bob Harper is embracing CrossFit, who has been, obviously not dealing with elite athletes. He's dealing with the other end of the spectrum, with the obesity and that problem that we have, and yet he's still embracing like this. He's pulling it into the workouts on his show. So obviously it can be scaled, you said, for anybody, but not everybody's going to want to work that hard. Is that what I'm hearing?
I think that's the big answer there.
Okay.
It takes a lot of failure and understanding that failure is going to happen when they walk in the door.
Okay.
Right. It's a mental toughness game.
Okay.
A lot of the times, if you're uncomfortable with feeling overwhelmed and that you've got a lot to learn, then you probably won't stick around because you feel like that in the beginning. There's a lot. But, I think one of the reasons why Bob Harper's embraced it is that if you're comfortable with that, it's fun and it's
personally
motivating.
challenging.
Yeah, it's motivating. You get really motivated. So, you know, people that struggle with obesity, usually one of the reasons they've gotten there is struggling with motivation.
Right. So if they turn the corner with the motivation, they can do it. It's here. You're saying.
It's mental.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
She used the word comfortable and uncomfortable, and I've got a friend of mine out in California, and he's constantly texting me before a contest and says, "Get comfortable being uncomfortable."
Right.
Gotcha.
And it's you know, it's hard. It's uncomfortable.
It's constantly being challenged, basically. State of being re-challenging yourself. You're not going to get stagnant
Right.
doing CrossFit because it changes.
It's
often.
never the same.
Right. I think 2 weeks ago, I told the kids that I coach that I got into the middle of a workout and started saying in my head, why am I doing this to myself? And then I, you know, just having the whole mental game in my head of, you can stop, you know, you can just not finish this workout. And, you know, it was all I could do to finish. I mean, mentally, it was all I could do to finish it. Physically, it wasn't that bad. I mean, it was tough. But, you know, I told my kids later, I was like, you know, we all get into the place of like, this is too hard, and I can't. And CrossFit's about learning how to say, I can.
Failure's unacceptable.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you're gonna fail, but it's unacceptable. It's okay.
So quitting's unacceptable.
Quitting's unacceptable.
Right.
Gotcha.
Tomorrow I'm gonna get back up and I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And if it means 2 more push-ups from yesterday, and then it's 2 more push-ups from yesterday.
Gotcha.
If it means torn hands from trying to get 1 pull-up, that's what it means.
Well, let's talk about that. The movements in CrossFit. So what are I could say, they're full body movements, but I mean, really you've got a mix of Olympic lifts, you've got sprinting, you've got stuff to time. I mean, how would you describe the movements?
Well, first, CrossFit, their definition is constantly varied functional movements at a high intensity. And the way and we can use that as a definition. What does it mean? And it's functional movements, squatting, push-ups, sit-ups, lunges, pull-ups, you know, anything and any variation of that. If you're squatting, is it with a weight? Is it with a kettlebell? You know, there's many variations of those movements, but those are your basic movements.
Okay.
Right. And the functional part is that, you know, nowadays, why do people end up in assisted living when they can no longer squat down and pick something up off the ground in their house? Right. They can no longer put something up over their head, carry in their groceries. If they fall down, they can't get up.
Right.
CrossFit is training functional strength for everything, everyday life. You know, if you train your squats, you're never going to end up in a place where...
Right.
Yeah, and I coached a woman that started when she was 59. By the time she was 60, when she started, she said that when she dropped her keys, when she was carrying in her groceries, she had to put everything down, get down on the ground, pick up her keys, then pick everything up to get into her house.
Right.
And a year later, she said she had this amazing experience that she dropped her keys, carrying her groceries. She squatted down, holding everything, picked her keys up, and stood up.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and that's the difference between...
They surprise themselves. They do something that they didn't think they could do or couldn't have done a year ago, and all of a sudden they do it and realize, what did I just do?
Yeah, she was ecstatic. She was like floating on a cloud, coming in the gym, telling us about it. It was great.
That's a great feeling. Yeah. That's a great feeling for you guys.
So it's like, you know, when you hear people say, well, we squat and we deadlift, and all of a sudden they're like, oh no, squatting or deadlifting is bad for you. Well, is it bad for you, really? What about your grandmother when she, like Rebecca's talking about, she goes and she puts her groceries down to get her keys out. She has to pick the grocery bags up. That's a deadlift from the ground.
Right.
Yeah.
If squatting, if you sit back into a chair and you stand up out of the chair, that's a squat.
Yeah.
If you're not using your hands and you sit in the chair and you stand out of that chair, it's a squat. So what's the difference between a deadlift and a squat, the way we term it, to that? That's the carryover. That's the functionality of it.
Yeah, there's just a barbell involved in what we do. So people are scared.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can lighten that up too if you need someone to come in and they can.
Right.
Just as long as you're talking about moving the body, you add weight that's appropriate for the challenge. I mean,
Yes.
Increased challenge, like you said.
There's 10-pound barbells and
15.
Right.
yeah, 15 and
Gotcha.
itty bitty little kettlebells, and we've got equipment to scale back to anything.
Gotcha.
I think on that end, what's intimidating is when you get somebody that walks in that doesn't know that you have a 100-pound female picking up a 15-pound barbell with 10 pounds on each side, and it looks just like the regular barbell that you're lifting that has 95 pounds. That's intimidating, because the female that walks in is like, okay, that woman is really lifting a lot of weight. Well, it's really not. It appears to be, but it's not.
Gotcha. And you guys train, I mean, there's different, I know sometimes you're sprinting, sometimes it's for time, or you're doing something for a number of reps. So you're hitting from a more technical aspect, more energy systems. You know, people say, well, I need cardio for this, or I need cardio, you know. So you guys are, I would say, it sounds like the change would hit all the energy systems.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, on a very different, depending on the day or the workout.
Right. Well, the joke in CrossFit is, you know, you get people that come in all the time and say, oh, you know, I see y'all do a lot of strength. You know, what do you do for cardio?
Right. That's
you
what
know,
I was saying.
for strength, we lift weights, and for cardio, we lift weights faster.
we hide it.
Yeah.
we hide the cardio.
So you put the cardio in the movements. It's just the pace of the movement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, an example would be, you know, like our benchmarks, you know, Fran. Fran's supposed to be a very fast workout.
Yeah.
You know, top level guys are finishing it in 2-3 minutes.
Okay.
You know, they put a cutoff at your level 1, CrossFit level 1, they put a cutoff of 7 minutes. Because anything beyond that is doing beyond what that energy, what that workout is supposed to do to that energy system. It's supposed to be quick. Where there may be a 12-minute, 15-minute AMRAP, as many reps as possible in 12 or 15 minutes, changing the dynamics of it and attacking a different energy system. And then you can go into your hero WOD like Murph, which will take anybody between 45 minutes all the way to an hour.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And you're hitting.
Took me an hour and 12 minutes, actually.
So you're hitting 3 different energy systems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and you're still doing conditioning. You're still strength training through there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was a beast. But
Yes.
wow. Okay. Great. So it's really a lot of the same movements you would see athletes do. It's not, you're not going to see somebody in a CrossFit gym doing 12 sets of curls and then standing around or maybe going over the leg extension.
No.
You guys are playing with bars. You have pull-up bars. You have rings.
Right.
Jump ropes.
Boxes,
Your
kettlebells.
body seems to be the workout. You have a few apparatus to help you kind of move that in different directions.
Yeah, and I explain this to people a lot. I actually explain this to women a lot because, you know, we don't have very many machines in a CrossFit gym because machines tend to isolate muscles. And, you know, part of functional fitness is your whole body working as a coordinated group of muscles. But one of the things that reasons I explain this to women a lot is they always want to know, I have a six-pack. They always want to know, how do you get your six-pack? You know, how do I get a six-pack like that? You know, what do you do for your six-pack? And I tell them I move the barbell because anytime you're off of machines and moving weights with your entire body, your core gets so strong. So
that's your stability.
Yeah.
It stabilizes your spine.
Yeah, it stabilizes your spine. So just the all of it, you just get this total body workout.
Gotcha.
And you know,
so you're doing 100 crunches, obviously, and
right.
then go get the leg
So,
extensions,
you know,
and then
we cringe about curls and when people talk about presses, because we're like, you know, because you know, CrossFitters get this very distinct physique. You know, they've you know, you see it on the games, and you know, the first thing people want to know when they walk over pretty quickly is, you know, when are we going to do an ab workout? I want to do an ab workout. I'm sure you've gotten that question.
We get that too.
And you know, you kind of shake your head. You you know, say, go pick up that barbell, you know, and you get an ab workout.
But you know, she's talking about the core and the functionality of the movements. The best movements, the 2 best movements for your actual core of the body is the Olympic lifts, your snatch and clean and jerk. They engage more of that musculature than any other lift out there, than any other exercise out there. You know, so why not do it? Why not be efficient enough, learn how to use it, and do it that way?
Right, and they're just
And it's
stabilizing
fun.
their spine. They're not sitting there trying to get a burn out of
No.
doing 100 somethings.
And the funny thing, stabilizing the spine, is that when we teach them properly and they get a grasp of it and they understand when we talk about all the variables that go into torque, the coaching involved in coaching an athlete in it, their pains go away. The ones that have back pain or knee pains, they start to go away because they're engaging the posterior chain. They're engaging the things that are going to hold that spine and that lumbar nice and tight. So
Right.
the pain goes away.
Which actually, I have scoliosis. My spine is curved in 3 different places. And I came into CrossFit with my back kind of just hurt all the time. I actually also had knee problems.
Wow.
Surgery on my left knee, MRI on my right, and constant flare-ups of pain, and all my pain has gone away.
Wow.
My knees are fine. They crack. They crackle.
Yeah, well, so do I.
Yeah. But all my pain has gone away.
Yeah.
And my back, I go to a chiropractor, and he says that as my back muscles are developing from all the core work I do, the imbalance and of the development of my muscles is getting corrected, and my pain's pretty much gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you
I'm an
came in
example
with
of it.
pain, you're coming out with
Right.
better movement, and so that's
Right.
addressing whatever created the pain. It's
Mhm.
not you're not going through pain management. You're correcting your movement, and though the pain is
Right.
dissipating, as opposed to everybody's scared of if you lift heavy, you're gonna have pain or hurt yourself. You're actually correcting your way your body because it's functional.
Yes.
Right.
That's the whole idea of functional. So, great. Well, thank you. We're going to take a break here. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about the things that may have made CrossFit so popular, or at least what we're seeing, and talk about Fran a little more. And who is this Murph guy? We got to find out who Murph is. All right. Check back.